know each other as people. Not right away. First, let's get to know each other as political ideologies, and then as stormtroopers of faith, and then as emotional thugs, and then as physical thugs, and then as victims, and then as excuse makers, and then as leash tuggers, and then as organ donors, and then as tail twisters, and then as mythical beasts, and then as thought police, and then as judges, and then as jailers, and then as eruptions on the skin of each other, and then as collapsing muscle and bone, and then as the dead. Immaculate oil. The formula includes rare earth elements such as cerium, a fluid cracking catalyst, in densities beneath the sensitivities of our devices to count. But such a dilute solution only carries meaning above a certain threshold, as is shown from similar distributions yet to be discovered in more exotic populations. Finally, to settle in a sediment unlikely to solidify, as do the concurrent spheres of observation. But where's the one to consume the last of the leftover scones once the members adjourn? Some silver oscillations address examples, reside in features bundled after thunder, passive bass particles urging pupils to contract to a point above the branches, out of reach from below. Perforations follow the border, a line to tear, a neat release. Clouds of quantum skippers adrift across the lattice, twisters plucked from mice, a cable braided up, fabric woven out, rivers diverted by the instant shifts of phase, rip stitches in your jeans, poke trenches through the corn. The effort seems, in retrospect, too like an open grate set to capture violators before the fumes discharge. Just let me linger to compare smoke to steam, or mixtures of the two. The heating duct releases clouds of interstellar dust. Gravitational lenses, their customary fall to pieces, big enough to leave a smear across the black night sky or crater in the crust. Almonds. You deserve a crunchy form, one that shatters as the molars come together, one that grinds itself to meal, that seeks the pockets in the teeth and gums. Clash of collusion, tachycardian cuts, collapse, chatter and chat, collision, conclusion, clatter and charter in collaboration. And at this point, the particles get smaller. General jettison upon germination, surely shared, shattered, and shorn, settled as a scuttle sails to sunset. the tough surprise between the chocolate and the coconut, a drizzle of honey on the board, a cluster hidden among the greens and apples. Clamor on the boulevards. This outline stenciled on the city's stomach, this graffito rollered out, sprayed upon again, the city's empty-surfaced architecture thickening with strata of mouths uttering their fleeting certainties, voices layered one upon the thousand, echoes lost in fresh babble, spattering on contact with the atmosphere. Smoke, exhaust, urine stains, toilets improvised from broken chairs in corners overgrown with ivy. What contraption sprays these phonemes wide enough to spread like blankets on the street? A can of yellow aerosol, water climbing up the drain, tires in oily lakes splash denizens on the walkway, their faces half flesh and bone, half telephone. What can flush the poison from this syringe when the noise is the poison? When the pill that kills the silence is ringing in our ears, will follow us into the soil, will frighten the worms, will call out our names to the carrion eaters who sing their own choruses of catastrophe, as we might expect from the hills of garbage we provide to keep them fed. They wonder at the signals in our thoughts. They tag our ears and let us go. They track us and report to their superior. But our mystery still escapes them. And more confluences of converse gag the alleys and culverts, and no amount of runoff can wash the system clean. Feet in both worlds. Her Majesty is pawing around in the fridge. What's in this plastic tub? To a 2-day-old lasagna? Yes, but no, not that. The remains of the rotisserie chicken from the deli counter? Probably not that either. Tonight, the crown is heavy on Her Majesty's white curls. Her neck is stiff, her feet are tired, her neck is stiff and sore, and a paper cut from a page in a diplomatic document throbs on her left thumb. In this report, the heir apparent with an underage companion sped from a party in a roadster with a faulty brake. A collision with a tree had followed, and so had doctors, police, and journalists. She dispatched the handlers. She'd just as soon now wash the problem into daylight on rivers of dreams. But a box of chocolate licorice, 2 double grande espressos, and visions of headlines in the tabloids have banished her from that frontier. When she was but a child, her huntsman beat the brush for hares and vixens to run for her diversion. But now the coachmen are abed with their scullery wenches, and the percher on mares are snoring in their stalls. The valets in their nightshirts, and the ladies in their flimsy sleeping gowns don't hear her pacing barefoot through the gallery. Aha! A half-devoured tub of bread pudding. She reaches to the dryer rack and lifts out a spoon. In the royal chamber, the prince consort has gathered all the covers around it. Digital red numbers change from 359 to 400. Her Majesty props her back on the pillows, clicks on the clip-on reading lamp, slips her glasses onto her nose, and opens her paperback cozy to the corner bent page. Luminary compartment. Our adventures begin with fingers on the money. Organ failure, solitude, unimportant delays. The expedition clings like slime to blemishes, eruptions on the skin, topical creams on sores that grow like children, cowering at the mountain's base. Satisfy that curvature, that shoulder of the earth from 50,000 feet. Glide past turbulent, the runway, blinking buffalo knot. This will comfort you when faces in a mirror shift. This will open doors, feet contact floor. Owls dive out of the sky to snatch away our strategies. Their splintered talons scatter as if smeared in the night, the cursive gesture reflecting their dizzy spin. The siphon splashes us. The struggle to linger returns to suckle on our breaths. Their incandescent limbs taste like porcelain chameleons. Clock, radio, alarm. Treachery wakens me. Pinches before dawn this tongue. Splits this lips with razors. Spits blood at the window. Laughs and smears this mouth. Disturbs this grasp on artifice. Lives each day in the shade of the lamp. The end appears to come when a number on a clock flips, but the numbers repeat in mystery rotation, as if the corpses of numbers had risen from the loam of earth to stagger through our neighborhoods in search of living days. charcoal in the milk. Camping in the pantry, flashlight in an underwater cavern, all walls look alike. What you hear above the clatter, what can't exist can't make demand. Once these places were one place. Engines carried us to knowable destinations. Corners stand now on toes. Jobbers glide past our lips. Let chance decide. Let rivers flood the neighborhoods. Let floor lamps pretend to be bonfires. Mats and napkins beckon. Gestures on the glass. Master of time and isotopes. Half this life is half enough. Brother, under skin, healing in the dispensary. Neutrinos in the nursery. Sutures over eyebrows. Sweet sleep in fresh sheets. Sweat on the face. Blood in the stool. Clusters of cells deforming midnight to dawn. Hair grows on the mats. Once, this was all one place. Motors carried us, we didn't care where. Feathers filled our pillow. Pheasants, basted in wine, pretended to embrace the fate of many slathered in the same sauce. Errant and true. Offenders in splendor feel the fever later on. That rusty vacuum collects in his collection cavity. Rainfall, seasonal average, when the child is birthed warm above the waters, like boomers chewing through the half-price buffet, as if time were wasted on the wise. No one shows alarm. No one knows enough to levitate the torment. The afternoon, when the sun through the window, the blast in the eyes from 93 million miles, just down the block from the hemisphere, desperate to read the sport report or how a riot in the Eurozone affects a foot on a ladder falling over. Not ready for the maitre d', not ready for the full reverse to matter to the maitre d'. What secret does he keep below the surface of the cylinder, which later, in a ringtone we don't know that well, describes the hour in terms we wish we'd listened to about an hour sooner. The space between Benny's left big toe and the one right beside fits all his thoughts of tomorrow. The aerialist and his brothers sublet a condo in the hollow of his heart where roustabouts run donkey rides up the Achilles tendon into the hair on Benny's cap. But here they halt, turn, return, they dare go no farther since the incident of the deep knee bends. Insurance won't cover the risk, even if Benny's passed out on his couch with the TV on at 4 in the morning. The brothers stand willing to skip a payment or two as long as the aerial is still in motion over the center ramp. A slipper with a hole in the toe. Benny's toe in the hole. The brothers try to wake him. Play with us, Benny. Ain't easy out here. You're all we got. Speak, Benny. Speak. Benny tries to feel what people feel, to show on his face what shows on faces with the camera turned away. Mouth hung open, tongue encased in juice of sour lemon balm. Vertebrae round his finger, still fading, not yet faded out. In the recess of his ear, his memories nest. His hairline resting in the plastic catch, covering the shower drain. Eyelids glued wide, not to miss a thing. Then he tried to tell the super the circus on his legs kept him entertained in the hours sitting on the bowl in his t-shirt. Liquid soap spilled on the carpet where Benny often walks barefoot. A damp sponge turns it to foam. It glows in circumference. It surrounds the table leg and nearby legs of chairs. The sponge lines the leg, smears the dried spots of split pea soup. Then he needs water. Then he goes to the sink to wring out the sponge. The sink is jammed with dishes, pots, pans, knives, spoons, forks, cups, glasses. Then he needs more sponges. Then he needs more soap. Then he puts on his pants, socks, shoes, hat, coat. Walks to the super. Buys soap, sponges, multi-milk balls, wine, razor blades, shaving foam, toothbrush, toothpaste, mouthwash, fresh bread, cheddar cheese, ice cream, reading glasses. Then he heaves the grocery bags into his arm, trudges down the sidewalk, up the back stairs, pulls out his keys, turns the lock, drags the bags inside. The spot is spreading out on the carpet, out across the table, out over the counter. The garbage pail is full. It ties off and lifts out. A fresh bag lines the hole. The sponges scrub the dishes, scoot around on the linoleum floor, sop up grime in the bedroom, clothes in a hamper, climb into the machine. Detergent pours, dials turn to setting. Benny stands on the damp carpet, arms empty. Surveys the expansion. The fires take walk on the window till the dust flies off the blind. Benny's shoes and pants removed and moved to the washer, where the other load slithers into the dryer and starts to spin. He is standing in the shower. Hot water stings his skin. A washcloth rubs him front and back and up and down. What is going on? He hollers in the space between the tiles, and the plastic curtain pulls aside. The fresh towel rubs him everywhere. His shaving foam smears on his cheeks. His razor cleans the hair from his face. I don't deserve this attention, He shouts. No one replies. His laundry folded in his chest of drawers, his bathrobe on his shoulders. Then he can't see who says, "You've never been alone." "Who are you?" asks Spinning. You know who we are. Stratus, activate. Mother wishes us to tie her sable-painted eyelids closer to the skin. Her stomach contents, smothered pillows, remarks on handprints and sediments, red from the resistance where the elbow fuses to the wrist, a stew of leather and cooked hair hides on the collector with the dryer lint. Slag behind the tiles on the smelter floor turns down along the bend. Their desiccated faces see an accident, a dented metal sheet, ice among the orchids, a deck discard, a circus of swift evasions, a pixelated surface, a calcified formation in the vestibule. But she cannot forget the wheelbarrow shuffle. Like mustard seeds in urine, a rising estuary closes on her mouth, parentheses of hours and minutes, collapsible as fate. Face in the head. Ancient shackles pull that trigger. That lacerated history. Those shredded manuscripts, the facing pages blurred and fused into each other. My ancestors told jokes at my expense to keep me confused, to lie to my investors, to play dominoes with bottles of chloroform, not rotten yet enough to throw. A shoelace tied around my tongue, my fingers oozing from their joints, rising from the ice, point toward my infancy, spent with pantomime in a cradle of severed toes. These merciless falling stones have shattered on the porch where caryatids slouched as if the powder in the Parthenon had turned in a breath to yellow paper. Matter is like a false wall on pivot, like a rubber severed finger in a bowl of low-fat yogurt, like letters added to familiar words to make them unfamiliar, like snakes in hollandaise sauce, like shark fin soup sipped from a spoon carved of elephant ivory, like a feathered mask, like hobnail boots on meter maids, like names misspelled, like movement undercover, escaping the reloaded the food. Just thought this would remind me of why the species of humans dispense with these comparisons for the sake of calm, for the sake of removal, for the sake of sleeping protein, for the sake of nice wine, for surfaces burnished with calm, for broken fingernails, for salted bones, for sharpened sticks, for a ball-in cage, for a whittler's my skin torn from muscle like stopped clogs, like the face of my darling slapped in the dark. Passenger. The walls are thin at this end of the ward. All you can think word salad serving now at the mobile internal monologue van. When that bell rings, I'll be cultivating dandelions, asleep in my restraints, after the electric catastrophes have plunged through all my cells. Yet they still expect me, with all I've touched and tasted, to stand in line for tickets to the well-adapted train, as if I were another child before the ravishings. And we're done. Thank you.